No, we left off.
Oh goodness, I have no idea. Also, we are live now.
Oh hey,
Yay. Let the pain begin.
the pain shall start. Afro circus, Afro circus.
Why?
Go away, Olympics notification. I know you're going on.
The Wizard hardly is North Korea.
Get the people in here, Manny.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
I'm working on it.
Never again.
I'm working on it. I think it was on like page 98.
Wait, what?
No, I'm at page 398.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, whoa.
We are going backwards.
Hello, Mr.
But
Shadier. The pain shall start circus music message. How are you doing today?
Anyway, I think we can just this the first part of this page was a blessing because we just have to read like the last 3 pages, then chapter 26.
Yay.
Were we really that close to the next chapter?
I
Yes.
guess.
I think so, maybe. Hang on.
We probably just could have done the whole thing, but somebody insisted that we have to read up till when we have 69 pages left.
I mean, that was objectively a genius idea.
Okay.
Well, my OCD ass is just stressed.
Okay, there's a lot of pages.
Hello,
Until
Mike.
the next chapter, or
Yeah, a lot of yeah, a lot of remaining pages in the chapter. Unfortunately.
I'm working on it. Let me make that stupid Discord post so I can get everyone in my power to join this live stream.
I'm working on it, Manny. I'm playing Spiral, by the way. Just wanted to let you know, even though you don't care.
Excellent. All right. So how's everyone doing until now, when we're back to Theresa?
I had some pizza for dinner.
Nice.
I got to see my nieces and nephew today.
Nice. How about everyone in the chat, all 2 of you? Let me check something here. Kenzie, I see no threatening.
Alright, fine. God. What am I hearing?
What is that?
It's Spiral. That's Moneybags.
Turn off the game!
No. I want to see the Yeti like beat up the bear.
Pardon me? The father says, I'll be there momentarily. There's been a major plot development in the Rudy Jazz show. Is
No,
Rudy
there hasn't.
still streaming? Oh, okay. Should I go onto the, should I go over on Twitch on Rudy's stream and tell everyone, go away and get onto our stream?
Yes.
The bear got the bear got beat up.
Alright, hang on.
Kenzie,
bear got-
shut the game off. I'm cutting it down.
It's so funny to see that bear get beat up by the animals.
No, it is not.
Alright,
Not
hang on.
Moneybag is not a
Bears,
cool bear.
bears are
Which?
pure.
Not Moneybags. He's a limp dick loser. He's not.
Jesus.
He's probably not even a bear. He just looks like a bear.
I don't
He
think I've
doesn't
heard you.
deserve it.
I think I've
Huh?
heard you talk about a fictional character like that since Peppa.
I mean, Moneybag is annoying. You have to go to him. He's like, I can get you across the bridge if you give me your money. Give me your money, Spyro. And also, he is the bad guy because he's working for the sorceress, the bad guy of this game.
Well, I mean, obviously he's evil if he's working for a woman.
Ah, based.
Alright.
Yay. Raptor hates whole
And now I'm gonna blame you, Manny.
confirmed. Now I'm just picturing Raptor driving down the highway, comes to a toll booth, rolls down the window. It's like, oh, hold on, let me reach into my wallet here, and just like flips them off. Fuck you! For shame, Mike.
Rudy's wrapping up anyway. So what I miss?
Mike came to the conclusion that Raptor hates toll booth operators.
Naturally.
I also do not like Moneybags from the Spyro games.
Hello,
He's a funny
Cameron.
character, but he's annoying.
Bonejaw, I'm watching 2 streams at once. Okay.
As you should. Give us your views.
Whoops, caps lock was on.
What'd you say?
Cameron was like, oh whoops, my caps lock was on.
Oh.
What do you think I said?
I don't know, I wasn't listening.
Gee, you tell Raptor to turn the game off.
Well, we're not reading yet.
Your mom's not reading yet.
Leave my mom out of this. I will bitch slap you.
Joe Mama.
Hello, Apostrophe Music. Send his goons to my house? No, 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 no. I did not send anyone. That was all Kenzie.
You told me to.
No. It was all your idea. Hello, Rudy.
You told me
Is
to.
this a
Nope.
You're
newcomer?
not supposed to enable my bad behavior.
I don't remember this person being here.
What's up, guys?
And-
Another bag.
and I'll-
It's me, Cameron, coming at you with 2 streams at once. Taps aggressively.
God, I hope Cameron doesn't do that.
I hope he does. Hello, Macaron. How are you?
Now we've got our crowd going.
Yes. Alright. And we are 85% finished with this book.
Yay!
And as Raptor pointed out to me, this is the, the 20th, 21st time that Bart has bashed someone in the head.
You know what I was doing back there?
What's that?
You know, bashing Bartholomew the Eddie on the head because that's fun.
That was painful to read. Inspire you, check your caps lock. Hello, Bioman.
The baby dragon just did the moonwalk.
Oh, I don't have a drink. Should I go get a drink?
Probably.
Yes. That is.
You do. You both don't.
I have coffee.
It's not gonna. Well, it's gonna fuck you up, but in a different kind of way.
You think I'm gonna be like the squirrel from over the hedge and become like as fast as Usain Bolt?
I never saw that movie.
Okay, if it has Steve Carell as a squirrel, he is very hyperactive, and when he drinks the coffee, he becomes as fast as light, like Fry from that one episode of Futurama where he drinks a lot of coffee. And now you have context.
All right, I'm gonna
You're
go get
welcome.
a drink.
Yeah, Mike says, do it, Kenzie. I'm finally able to drink on this stream again. Oh, boy. Hello, the father? You'll be a bit late, but you're here already. Is this like a time paradox thing?
The future refused to change.
Nice. Cameron's getting a drink. Thanks for the context, Raptor. I understand the joke now.
You're welcome.
That was Mike, by the way.
Okay.
I have alcohol.
Good.
Excellent.
So shall we begin then?
Yeah,
Aww.
probably. Let me see.
Time without the turn off Spiral.
One of you. Well, Manny, you're gonna have to recap since we're starting in the middle of the chapter this week.
Yeah, jeez, whose fault is
One of
that?
the baby dragons did a somersault. That's cute.
Alright, well, when I said recap, I mean we'll just, reread one of the pages. Alright, so, so Teresa's idea was that she's going to move, Pyongyang into the sea. Because ain't that just genius? Who was playing, General Son Woo?
It was me, and I was doing General Grievous because why not?
That's right. Recap, Teresa's an awful military planner. Yes.
The
Yes,
negotiator. I guess this means I have to turn off Spiral now.
Yes.
But I was having so much fun playing as Bentley the Yeti and bashing people's skulls in.
Off.
Aww.
Alright, let's see.
Good night, Rudy.
Good night, Rudy.
Okay, the game's off now.
Thank you.
But I was having fun.
Alright, so... You say Pyongyang. Alright, so... Let's start with, I hung up. The 7 South Korean generals in the room looked at me with a lot of anticipation.
I'm going to move Pyongyang into the west a few miles into the sea. The leaders will have to give up when they lose the capital, don't you think?
Hang on.
Who was general? I think that was Manny.
No,
I think. Well, who was the colonel?
no, I'm General Sunwoo. Sunwoo.
Oh, I thought it was Manny who was the general, and you were the colonel.
No, that was like for the English guys. Here I'm General Sunwoo.
Whatever.
Sunwoo Grievous. Okay. Can you move Pyongyang?
Asked the incredulous General Sonwoo.
Yes, I've already done it to a small piece of land in Antarctica. It's easy if you control Hal.
That's all you need to do.
The armies of the separatist leaders, also known as North Korea, will be ordered to the mainland. They will spread over the country. We will meet them everywhere. Can you destroy their weapons without destroying ours?
No.
How useful.
Then move
Let's
in
be real. If the story
Pyongyang.
really needed her
Oh.
too, she would, by the way.
Yes, but Teresa's a bitch. And bitches don't do the right thing. Wait. Then moving Pyongyang will not give us a victory.
I saw his point. With the North Korean army spread out over the country and free to fight another day, the people in Pyongyang would assume they were to remain enslaved and obediently attack the South Korean task force. What? Was this the end of the line of what I could do?
Yes,
One of the generals
hopefully.
screamed out something in Korean. He was very angry.
What did he say?
I asked Sonwoo.
I prefer not to translate.
Pussy.
The generals looked at me with a variety of expressions. Some looked sympathetic, some annoyed. All looked like they were thinking I was an amateur general who didn't know what she was doing. That's exactly
Imagine that.
what you are!
Stupid American girl can't even destroy our weapons. What a bitch.
Nice one, Mike. The angry general probably said I was a stupid girl who should be home baking cookies. I doubt that's
She
what
says something much worse.
Yes. I was losing command fast. They'd walk out on me any minute.
Do it, do it, do it, do it! I need time to think.
I said and looked at a map of the China, Korea, Japan region. You mean Asia?
Yeah, East Asia.
Most of the border between China and Korea was along the Yalu River, which was a natural border. By drawing 3 or 4 straight lines along the border, it was possible to include practically all the Korean peninsula below it, except for a few tiny pieces of North Korea that were locked in like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. These tiny pieces made up no more than 2% of the country. Between South Korea and Japan were 2 islands, Jesu on the left and Tsushima on the right. Jesu could be moved straight down, but Tsushima was in the way. What the fuck is this? If I move Tsushima just 50 miles to the east to rest next to the Japan mainland, I could move the entire Korean peninsula 70 miles south. No, you couldn't.
Who owns these islands?
I asked Sonwoo.
Jesu is Korean. Tsushima is Japanese.
Get me Prime Minister Blair.
I ordered.
What's he gonna do?
At least our fellow Prime Minister has made his long-awaited return. Said no one.
And yet, Jan Struthers. We have gone several chapters without her.
Whip Jan.
Sonwoo made the difficult connection in a few minutes.
F in the chat for Jan.
Yes.
Miss Hartley!
Did Mr. Schertzer tell you about Jerusalem?
He did! He's here with me in London! We thought you might need help!
With what? The Pyongyang move is out. It's not enough. Are there any island nations that are dictatorships?
The Prime Minister was silent for a moment.
Where's this going?
He must have suspected what I was up to.
Hold on, Miss Hartley! I need to discuss this with my advisors! Jafar! And Jafar
Mike's
clone
not
number
doing enough in the
2!
chat for Jan.
Mike,
What?
please.
Good Jeff, Jan. I mean, Mike.
You ruined his opinion on Jan by constantly hitting on him.
But that's not happening anymore.
Oh.
I held on for 8 minutes before Blair got back to me. I wished I'd been a fly on the wall to watch Blair and his friends screaming at each other.
I mean, they're both just both Toby, so it's natural. There are 2 or 3 leftist island nation governments, all backwards nations, but no modern nations with severe dictatorships as we see in North Korea. It is our consensus that such a government cannot survive long in the modern world. It's an economic phenomenon, suffering both political and geographic isolations at the same time carries a heavy price.
Except North Korea seems to be managing.
Yeah, this seems kind of sus, Mr. Blair. Very sus.
If
I
I
don't care.
moved Korea out to sea, would the government collapse?
Everything would literally collapse.
Along with the rest of the country.
Yes, Teresa's gonna destroy another country. What a bitch. There is an excellent chance the people will see there is a greater power than their leaders, and their leaders will fight among themselves. I should add that the only reason China supports North Korea is that they don't want a democracy on their border. Their own people would flood into a free Korea. If you move Korea away from the mainland, China's support will dissolve.
Thank you, Mr. Blair.
I hung up and said to Sun Wu,
No. No. I don't want to say this. Not bad for a dumb girl, huh? You don't even know that's what they said.
Yes, they said something much worse. But anyway, will you move Korea?
Sure, why not?
What about earthquakes?
That is the first time someone has posed that question in this entire book. I know we've been pointing it out, but this is the first time someone in book has posed that question.
It's almost as if this book is complete bollocks. I'm British now.
The Earth's mantle is 40 miles thick. I only moved the top mile. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. No, you don't!
Hang on, is this stream 20?
yeah.
But you used the thumbnails and titles for stream 21.
Nobody noticed.
I noticed.
No. Hello, Millie. The problem
Hey, Millie.
skills of a
Hi,
child.
Millie.
I went back to my room.
Problem-solving skills of a child. Really? Like, for real?
Not being a dumbbell like that general thought. God.
Teresa's gonna repair the fault lines with flex tape.
And then she's sued by Phil Swift and is never inflicted upon the world again. I had brought dozens of my most valuable HAL program boards with me. I found the Move Jerusalem program. Why would you call it that?
The blueprints for Jew Island.
I'm just picturing like a crayon drawing.
Yeah.
A crayon drawing of the Star of David.
It just says like island completely misspelled. Like EYELA backwards ND.
Island. I'm so mature. I know, I don't care.
And then like someone comes up to her and is like, Theresa, there's an silent S in the word island. That does it. I'm using hell to fix the English alphabet.
I had never used it, but seeing the utility of this program in other parts of the world, I had made it much more sophisticated in recent months. The parameters could be changed quickly with the little detachable pieces of map board I was using. Before moving the land, I had to move underwater rock to give the land a place to slide into. I had a separate HAL program to do that. HAL crushed the rock and moved it like gravel. Oh my god.
Yeah, kicks my ass.
To make a much wider area under the sea. Darling, it's better down.
Asia should be underwater by now.
In examining marine maps, I noticed the waters around Korea were only a few hundred feet deep. God. The simplified things. I'd only move rock going down 2,000 feet, which was a safety margin. The ocean floor might have a few hundred feet of mud, and a solid rock table was needed. I started HAL to moving this rock. I started HAL to moving this rock. Let's look at some of the comments. Theresa is moving landmasses like dumplings on hot blackberries. What? I have no idea why I made that analogy. I don't even know what that means, Macro. You ask people about episode 20, it has been disappeared. I need to do another drawing for Jerusalem plans.
Yes.
I'm a fucking scream. That job site that's down for maintenance isn't set to be back until the 26th. What the fuck are they doing? I'm sorry, Cam.
Scream with you, just for different reasons.
I examined my personal maps of the Korea region to say Korea, to mark the coordinates of Tsushima Island. In a few hours it was done. Really, because the thing with Antarctica took like 3 weeks. I put the X in place on the board to start the move. The rumbling started in minutes. Everyone died.
Oh, what is happening? The dragon god is gonna kill us all!
Jesus.
I really hope this plot point was made before, what was it, 2011, the devastating tsunamis in Japan?
I don't know.
Oh god, no. Oh god, physics caused tsunamis, what the fuck?
I really hope this was written before then, otherwise just... Bhutan, you are a piece of shit.
We should take
I mean, you're a piece of shit regardless, but...
I scream, you scream, we all scream constantly in this hell world. And also, I just realized, Theresa told one person that she was doing this. Like, what about all the civilians? What are they doing? How are they reacting?
Panicking.
They're all die. You better get ready to die. Dead.
No, Raptor, we're gonna get copyright struck.
Yeah, I don't even know how the song goes anyway.
I do.
What's it by again? I forgot.
I know the name. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. Hang on. Andrew W.K.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Continue, Manny.
Excuse me.
Oh, hang on, I have a fun fact for you.
What's that?
Did you know that in Super Mario World, the Wigglers was supposed to be green and wear party hats?
Nice.
That is
Fascinating.
funny. Okay, an abstraction, back to the story.
Oh. The procedure was that the underwater bedrock house scrape was rapidly moved northeast into the Sea of Japan. For the Korean move, I dumped this rock into the Yellow Sea between Korea and China. It was all done underwater where nobody could see it.
People drowned.
The rumbling from Tsushima was from the top 200 feet of the island below sea level, dragging along the billiard table smooth plane of rock adjusted for the Earth's curvature I had scraped away. There was no bumping up and down, but the friction was unimaginable. Jesus Christ. This was a good week to be a Japanese seismologist. No, you just gave every seismologist in Japan a heart attack. Okay, so one person in Korea knows what's going on. Nobody in Japan knows what's going on.
Bhutan is just really just has the mind of a child. I just imagine him. He's at like an old folks' home, and he's like thinks he's helping the staff, but he's just causing devastation. But he just sits back thinking he's making their lives so much easier. I help. Norman, please just stay in your room. No, I help.
I help the people at the hotel. I'm I pooped my pants. Oh dear.
Macaron says, Theresa, I'm gonna move Korea and Japan. Better tell the British Prime Minister.
Yeah. And Millie posted in Beanhaven the gif. We should take Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else. That's literally what's going on.
We should take.
Like bumping up and down with friction, you say, I'm not taking any chances, Mike, go to horny jail. The program started the move at a gentle 25 feet per minute. Okay. After a few seconds of that, I changed the parameter on the fly to 50 feet a minute and continued increasing speed every few seconds. Okay, she says on the fly, just you know what? Fuck it. Faster! Faster, I say!
Faster!
I'm just picturing her, in a helicopter following the island, cracking a whip. Mush! Mush!
Homer from the Simpsons movie. Run! Run! Run!
Mush! Mush! Jump! Jump! Land! Land! Rest!
Rest! Now, I know we had a rough day, but if we all hold together... And then they just attack him.
Honestly, I don't know why, but my favorite line from that is, the word apology is thrown around a lot these days.
But when it comes from in here... And then someone just threw something at his head.
That was a great movie.
Epic movie.
It really was.
Tell Tony War Criminal Blair he can at least cover up anything that goes wrong.
Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig can. Can he swing? Can he web? No, he can. He's a pig. Look out! Here comes the Spider Pig.
We could be watching that right now.
We could.
We'll be doing a lot of things other than reading a story.
Watch party next week?
Depends on when.
I don't think I have any accounts to watch the film.
Well, we can do it one day. Anyway, back to this bullshit.
When I was satisfied with where the land was, I'd reverse the procedure to slow it down again. buildings would not topple over. You see, you just like gloss right over that. Like, why not? Why aren't they toppling over? They just won't. Okay.
You know, honestly, like most authors would go the extra mile of like actually consulting, I don't know, physicists, being like, how much would like a country need to move for buildings not to topple over, to not cause earthquakes and shit? And then we would probably be like, I don't know, maybe a centimeter an hour.
Yeah.
And Bhutan would just be like, yeah, this sounds about right.
Fuck research. I have Wikipedia.
I went 50 miles an hour on the freeway, and my Christmas tree that I tied to the top of my car didn't topple over.
My diorama wouldn't tip over in my fast car, so why wouldn't a big building not topple in my car?
Simpsons movie watch party 1. Yeah, we'll figure something out. Blair. Theresa, these are your options. Theresa, I pick number 3. I was elected to lead, not to read.
You don't even want to read them first?
If there is tremendous friction too, shouldn't the ground be heating up? Yes, it should. So yeah, the sea is literally boiling now.
The water around them is boiling. Buildings are toppling over.
The world should still be on fire with the whole diamond thing.
The world should become like a freaking desert.
Have we forgotten about that? I know I did for a little bit.
Yep.
No, the world should still be in flames.
Anything that's not, people are running, trying not to get pelted by, what was it, like balls of gold and silver?
Yep.
By the end of this book, the world is gonna be like a freaking wasteland.
Oh god,
Like-
I just saw ahead a bit.
Oh
It
no.
happens again.
She's gonna
Let's do
change the
this.
world again.
Alright, I turned
When
on
does it
the
happen?
TV, and news
it
announcers
happen?
on the American station were already talking excitedly, terrified beyond all comprehension.
Anxiously,
That's no
panicked,
difference.
terrified.
This is Tucker saying Theresa is moving Korea because
Like,
we don't know why. She's just doing it because.
like the news anchors who can actually like keep it together enough to make the reports are sweating and drinking alcohol while they're on the air, and no one is complaining about it. No one's blaming them.
Like the one anchor in the news station is, we now go to Bob on the street because I'm about to break down. Back to you, Bob. And then like you see just Bob in a fetal position. I want my mom!
I was gonna say, like, you just see Bob, like, jump in front of a car and get run over. Oh. Well.
And then it cuts back to Samantha in the news station. I don't blame you, Bob.
You're there. Bob, why didn't you take me with you?
Trisha talking. We now go to Trisha talking now at Korea. Tom, North Korea is moving at a fast pace, and I don't sound Asian because I am not being voiced by a man.
Well, honestly, Takanawa, that's a Japanese name, they'd probably be like, alright, North Korea is in complete chaos. This is finally our chance. Let's go, guys.
Haha. Still funnier than any episode of Family Guy, to be honest.
Alright, the Korean generals had leaked the story out. What do you mean leaked? It is their obligation to announce what's happening. I followed the story for a while and then went to the lunchroom for supper.
Quick question.
Fuck the supper, you boomer piece of shit.
But hang on, how does General Grievous eat if he just wears a mask all the time?
He can take the mask off, I think.
What does he look like without his mask?
I'll find a picture. I actually found a picture of what he looked like before he was a cyborg.
Does he not have skin under his face? Because he looks like his muscles are exposed under the mask.
Probably.
I mean, you don't need skin when you have like a cool ass mask. to protect your skin from the elements.
Or just go the it's magic angle instead of the pseudoscientific. Teresa's a smart girl bullshit. I'm 3 miles inside a mountain in the anti-Teresa bunker. The rest of you are boned. Even Hort, here's a who had the world suffer impacts from the movement and interference. A Dr. Seuss book was more scientific than this.
Yeah.
You would see this from space. Grievous only leaks the scenery. Leaked because no one could notice the sun shifts on their own.
It's funny, because it's true.
Isn't he a cyborg? I thought he didn't have a stomach. I think, actually, the stomach is one of the few things he still has. He's just eyeballs and a heart-lung sac now.
What is his existence?
I don't know.
He's a cyborg alien, Kenzie.
Alright. It would take
And he's cool.
The next
He's
day before
badass.
Tsushima was where I wanted it. The Korean generals were in the lunchroom too. Okay, you're having supper in the lunchroom. Just say the mess hall. Or the cafeteria. Or
And
the
stop
cafe.
saying supper, you boomer.
I will not dine with you. I do not sup. No words were exchanged because they're terrified. You did not bother. Oh, here's what I was talking about.
Read the whole thing.
Alright, the Korean generals were in the...
Oh, wait, no, you said... Did you mention this time they looked at me?
Okay.
Did you read that?
No, hold on. The Korean generals were in the mess hall too. This time they looked at me with wonder and respect. No words were exchanged. You did not bother the world empress.
Okay, I know we've kind of never really abided by the drink rules for a long time. You all need to drink for that.
No, you all need to chug an entire drink for that.
Last time I tried that, I almost choked, remember?
Yes.
Okay.
The next day, Tsushima Island was within 2 miles of Japan. So many people were dead, and I adjusted parameters to slow it down and stop it there. I planned to raise a land bridge from the island to the mainland with a 400-foot gap for boats. God. The Japanese might build a bridge over the gap.
Mind the gap, folks.
Then I began modifying the program for the Korean peninsula. This would be done more slowly over several days because of the delicate cities there.
What makes a city any more delicate there than in Japan? The fuck?
I don't know. I drew lines along the North Korean border with China and Russia, leaving out those 2 tiny pieces of locked-in land. China and Russia were almost certain to take over these pieces of land. I started the program to move the underwater bedrock out to the Yellow Sea and gave Sonwoo a map with lines showing where the Korean ground was going to divide.
I only need to move rock 2,000 feet below sea level.
I told him.
Oh, is that all? I can't predict exactly where the ground will separate. Programming hell is not an exact science. The ground along the crack might collapse. Tell people they have to get at least 1 mile away from it. It will begin at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
With that, I retired to my room to wait for my most spectacular action yet.
Oh, shut.
English, is it your first language, Bhutan?
Word flashed on the television about tomorrow's exciting event.
We're just gonna move North Korea! We're all gonna die!
Does she realize that North Korea is attached to South Korea? That it's all one landmass?
Bhutan doesn't care for technicalities.
Commentators talked about many things. One was the question of whether I had asked anyone's permission to move 2 countries. Okay, I have to once again specify that this is how it's actually written. I'm reading this verbatim. Well, the Korean generals knew about it but didn't say anything. I just went ahead with it. It actually says, Well,
Why, Twister? Why
I,
you gotta make life hard for us all? You fucking
Oh,
bitch.
aren't you just so relatable?
I smiled at the
Yes.
commentator's talk because I was a sociopath. How did I come so far? When I had just reached my 10th birthday in the 4th grade, Mom and I met one of my teachers. The school system sometimes gave standardized intellectual potential tests to see if kids were meeting their full potential.
We don't care!
It was not one of those old IQ tests which had gone out of fashion long ago, but an evaluation of kids' thinking and learning abilities in many categories. I failed them all. The test was given 2 hours a day for a week. The teacher gave us the good news.
Isn't that wonderful? He scored in
No,
the
wait, can I read it? Because
98%.
I promised Mike, what's that voice?
Oh, Plinkett.
Plinkett.
Plinkett, yeah.
Okay.
Theresa did wonderfully. She scored the 98th percentile across the board. She should be at the top of her class. Someday she could do anything.
She might mail you a pizza roll.
Bravo.
Really? I didn't have
There,
a
Mike,
clue
now you
about
can stop bothering me.
anything.
Okay, wait, hang on. Just can you just say one more thing in the Plinkett voice for me?
Yeah.
Star Wars: The Phantom Menace is the most disappointing thing since my son.
Alright. Star Wars is the most. Or, you said the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Star Wars: The Phantom Menace is the most disappointing thing since my son.
Beautiful. We're enough fun though. Back to Painland.
Mike is happy. Good.
Oh yeah, now
Mike is content for now.
Macaron's pointing out something that I was thinking. A mile really isn't that long of a distance in these terms.
Yeah. Like, think of how long that would be such weak foundation for anything.
Yep. This is basically like, okay, God looks down, to see Theresa building a world, and it's like Mr. Burns seeing Homer's nuclear power plant model that he made.
What's this?
Now still in my teens, I was moving countries without permission. God, you fucking psychopath.
That's not a good thing, Theresa. Why would you think that's a good thing?
Everything in the last 9 years pushed me in this direction. Hal made me serious-minded at 10. No, he didn't.
He really didn't.
The kids called me the world's champion tomboy because I soon lost interest in girl things. No, you didn't.
We've officially reached Christian status. Obsessions with tomboys.
Tomboy is good. Tomboy is just a girl doing one boy thing, right, guys?
Yes. I think I even detected some worry in Mom's face. Was I getting weird?
Weird? Was I getting trolly? Am I doing a little trolling right now, Mom? Life is
No.
pain. Please kill me.
No, I was developing confidence to do anything. The intellectual potential test, good family support. Yeah, the support, the family that we've heard maybe about an entire paragraph of. The attention I got from Jan Struthers, watchers, being careful to keep myself out of trouble when so many kids around me were ruining their lives. Oh, you fucking cunt.
Well, she was mentioned. Are you at least sated, Manny?
No. I'm losing my fucking mind with this chapter.
Maybe she'll be back.
The steady dating with Jeff Winslow.
Who is Jeff Winslow again?
A high school sweetheart who she mentioned a couple times, but like we never actually met. So it's really pointless.
My quick early acceptance to BC, Jack, and Steve all
It
combined
doesn't
to build
actually say Jack, but we all know she's
It
thinking
should.
it.
Wait, my quick early acceptance to be C and Steve all combined to build my psyche to where I could step up as Empress Theresa.
She
Oh,
said
so
it. She
that's
said
why
it.
it's
Stop
called
calling
that.
yourself that.
I slept well. Morning came. At 10
Of
o'clock,
course you did, you fucking sociopath.
Son Wu, notice that it's just Son Wu now, not General Son Wu, was in my room to
The
confirm.
Empress doesn't need to give honorary titles.
Was in my room to confirm that I started. He was in her room. I imagine he was just like standing over her, like face an inch from hers, watching her sleep.
What is the situation, Teresa?
Your mouth hangs open a little bit when you sleep.
I put an X on the map board. The little pieces of mat I used to control numeric parameters fit on tiny shelves on the full board. I could change parameters in half a second. I started to move at 5 feet per minute. Every 10 seconds, I'd increase it 5 feet a minute. I aimed at a top speed of 65 feet a minute, or 3/4 of a mile an hour. That seems safe. None of this is safe. China and Russia had scores of helicopters in the air to watch for the crack to start opening. Some had television cameras and fed live pictures to stations in the region. Son Wu and I watched. One clever
Maybe it's because
helicopter crew.
Maybe it's because I'm halfway through my drink now, but like sometimes when I look at the word Songwoo, I see Sonichu instead. And I can't tell if that's because I've been drinking or just my extensive knowledge of Christian.
It's Sonichu just like doing an incredibly racist Korean impression.
Oh, you know that would be in there at some point if Chris actually knew anything about North Korea.
Alright, let's read some comments.
So Sun was just like a fucking General Grievous Sonichu hybrid.
We couldn't possibly be that blessed.
Alright, Mike says, you mean I can bother you about other things, lol. Korea and Japan are gonna sink. Yes, Millie, yes they are. Goodbye, Korea and Japan. I moved Korea a mile away. Teresa, that kills people. Kenzie sounds freaking dead inside.
When I'm doing my Plinkett voice or just normally?
I don't know.
Either way, the answer is yes.
Teresa. This is about outfits. Also Teresa. Totally a tomboy, you guys. Makarov. Ellipses. Yes.
Teresa, there was a dead body in our house. Oh hey, where did that come from? Teresa, why did you do that?
Most other girls ruin their lives.
No, not that.
I'm not
the last
like other
one
girls.
he writes.
I ruin everyone else's lives. There will be a day where morning does not come and it will all be Teresa's fault. He was in her room and quickly put his pistol behind his back when she woke up.
No, this is...
I mean, Sonic.
Don't read it! Mike, what is wrong with you?
Teresa Chu. I mean, I can't say I wasn't thinking it.
How are we still on YouTube?
Because I'm amazing.
That's not it.
It absolutely is. One clever helicopter crew had a camera aimed at a paved road. We could see the crack opening in the road immediately. The asphalt bowed down and opened up. I was creating 2,000-foot high sheer cliffs in the crack. No rock could stand up under the pressure, and the ground quickly fell down a foot or so to fill the crack. When the crack was a few feet wider, the land still collapsed slowly. People had plenty of time to get out. No, they didn't.
You just destroyed North Korea. Great job, Teresa.
We went out to the conference room to join the generals and anybody else watching television there. It was standing room only. Oh, you lazy sack. Anybody who had rank or an excuse to be there had squeezed himself in.
The Chinese have amassed a huge army. How is that possible? How did the Jedi amass such a huge army in such a short time? We must get all North Korean droids into battle!
How did the Chinese amass such an army in such a short time? Child soldiers! After an hour, the crack had opened up into a below. After an hour, the crack had opened up into a below, showing the progress of the two walls.
Oh, that's not what my book says.
What does yours say?
After an hour, the crack had opened up into a below sea level valley, and that valley had reached its greatest depth at 2,000 feet.
This one just cut all of that out.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so do you want me to keep reading and you can stop me when...
Read until it says they were 375 kilometers apart.
Okay. It was 3/4 of a mile wide at the top. Very little ground was going to collapse after that. Doubt. Now it got really interesting. The valley was below sea level, and of course, seawater was pouring in. A helicopter gave the first shot of it. A wall of water 600 feet high was rushing in around 100 miles an hour. The bottom of it was crashing into piles of broken rock and abandoned building, wiping them away in an instant. A general said something. Sonwoo translated.
There must be water coming from the opposite direction.
And this is what the line really says. Holy smokes! I hadn't thought of that. Should I do something? The top of the wall of water was still 300 or 400 feet below sea level. That was reasonable. There would be a long, gradual hill, so to speak, in the advancing water. Two walls crash together. They should not overflow on the undisturbed land still occupied by people. There was nothing I could do at this point anyways. It says anyways. It took days to program Hal for a new task. Still not caught up?
No. This is like an entire fucking page.
So, what do I have to read up to again?
They were 375 kilometers apart.
What's after that?
Roughly a little over 200 miles and closing fast.
Okay. The television screen bottom displayed a trailer showing the progress of the two walls. Okay, here we go. They were 375 kilometers apart, roughly a little over 200 miles and closing fast.
Right, that was like 2 fucking pages that this copy does not have.
Way to go, Bhutan!
Their combined speeds added up to around 200 miles an hour. Again with 200 miles an hour. Cecil B. DeMille couldn't have dreamed up a scene like what would happen soon. Oh my god.
Shut up.
Who is that?
Who cares? I've never heard the name before.
Neither have I.
With an hour to go, the stations needed something besides talking heads to fill time. The screen switched to a soccer stadium in Seoul. Right, because soccer is what... The crowd was mostly young people gathered to watch the move. Kids loved public events like this. It turned out this was a video replay. The giant screens around the stadium were showing the wall of water rushing forward, and told the crowd there was an opposing wall coming in too. The crowd stood and wildly cheered.
Oh my god, water!
The hour was running out. The gap between the water walls was closing at over 300 feet a second. The screen showed 10 kilometers, 6 miles. It would take 2 minutes. I joked.
I don't hope they break for a commercial. Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up.
Alright, I was cutting the rug at a place called The Jug. Father, what the fuck are you talking about? Theresa Chu is on the server. Millie, enjoy. Theresa is a creation of Junji Ito. Someone please pull an Operation Valkyrie on Theresa in this conference room.
Guys, no. Junji Ito could never come up with something as terrifying as Theresa.
Stellar editing Bhutan, 11 out of 10. Rip the entire country of Korea. Anywho's... Fuck
Stop
you,
it, Mike.
Theresa. Demille is turning in his grave. Do they even have football stadiums in Seoul? Who knows? During the movement, they have no electricity, running water, gas, or stability overall. Correct again.
Exactly.
Iconic old filmmaker who made an impressive for the time special effect of the parting of the Red Sea. Oh my
Thank
god.
you. Gotcha. Thank you.
Nobody in the conference said a word in these final tense moments. The long helicopter shot and the immense amounts of water gave an optical illusion we were watching a slow motion film. Give me 3 steps by learning. Okay, gotcha. In fact, the walls were converging at the speed of Indianapolis 500 racing cars. The water walls met with a noise unheard since Krakatoa. Water, or water spray, was thrown up 1,000 feet straight up. Was thrown up 1,000 feet straight up and to the sides of the crash site. It looked like a giant, thick Japanese fan.
Shut up.
It took a half minute for this water to settle back down to a mound of water filling up the valley to sea level or above. There was an immovable body of water at the crash site, but 1 trillion tons of water was still moving in from both directions. Spray continued to be thrown up at the 2 points where the incoming water hit. As these 2 rivers crashed with the immovable mound, they piled up water to the top of the valley. This phenomenon was moving back 250 miles towards the sea in each direction. The valley was slowly filling up with the middle to the ends in what looked like slow motion because of the sizes involved. But in reality, there was tremendous violence going on. We know. After 3 minutes, the show was less spectacular. The wild reaction of that soccer stadium crowd was shown. Everybody in the conference room applauded me for a spectacle that served no practical purpose.
Again, just Bhutan showing what his opinion on people are, and that they're all sheep.
Yeah.
It's funny because Bhutan's racist. Not really, but you know what I mean.
I mean, in this instance, we know he is, but
Yes.
this isn't one of those instances that prove that.
Other video replays from a dozen helicopters at the scene were beginning to appear on screen, showing the crash from different angles. Films of the event would be shown 1,000 times, and I didn't need to watch them now. It was time to get back to business.
I'm sorry, where are we?
Raptor.
Oh.
I think this is what Theresa says.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, I said this. Okay.
God, we're losing it, aren't we?
Yep.
You are misreading who's saying whatever, and I keep seeing Sonichu. It will take 4 days to move Korea down 70 miles.
I said to Sonichu.
Oh, we're doing this now.
I guess.
That will give the North Koreans time to come to their senses.
I don't think they'll change their minds.
Get me Prime Minister Blair. What?
You getting
Why?
yourself, bitch?
He do?
Blair was reached.
Magnificent display, Miss Hartley.
Shut up. It's a shame I couldn't sell tickets. Do you think I should go into Pyongyang for 4 days or wait for the leadership to collapse?
Hang on. Lost my page.
I don't know if I should keep pronouncing it properly. I don't even know if I am pronouncing it properly, but like I know Mike asked earlier if like it was actually spelled Pong Yang, like Pongyangang. And I figured that was probably the incorrect way of pronouncing it. And I figured Teresa would be one of those people who would like mispronounce it on purpose
God.
to show just how beneath it is to her.
Anyway. That is very difficult. There could be a long period of internal political fighting. The loss of a life could be high. On the other hand, if you go in soon, that could be tragic too.
Yeah, it's a no-win. I'm leaning to ending this thing quickly.
That has much to argue for it. Rapid defenses will destabilize the enemy. Waiting may renew their confidence.
That's what I was thinking. I'll go in 4 days unless you can talk me out of it.
I don't want to. Good luck, my dear.
In fact, you should go in right now. Maybe they'll shoot you.
I hung up.
You heard, General?
I did.
Sun Wu answered.
When we go in, I want loudspeakers on trucks to talk to the people. I need headphones to speak to them and a translator.
I wouldn't need makeup. It's hard to look beautiful when you're staring down millions of people who were ordered to kill you.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Oh, God.
How much longer in this chapter?
I have no idea.
Raptor?
Yeah?
During the 4 days of waiting, the controversy over whether I had asked anybody's
Okay,
to move Korea was
I don't think it's that much longer. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 more pages.
I thought you were fucking with us at first.
No, it's just 8 more
Let's
pages.
keep going.
The South Korean government said that when I announced my intentions, the generals working with me didn't resist. The truth was they didn't say anything at all. Prime Minister Blair made another courageous political stand. He spoke to Parliament to take the pressure off me.
Miss Hartley and I spoke on the phone when she was thinking of the move. She sought my advice about moving Korea. I encouraged her. She further said she would go directly into Pyongyang unless I could talk her out of it. I must assume much responsibilities for these actions. I could have talked her out of both. I did not.
Because I want her to be shot.
The 4 days were up. I changed parameters on the HAL program to slow down and stop Korea. Then I have final powwow with Sonichu.
What? What's that? I don't
Powwow?
like that. I don't freaking like that. What is that?
I hate it because I say that. And I'm mad.
Seriously, what is?
How dare you use my word?
What is a powwow? What is that? Why is it
It
called
basically
that?
just means like a discussion.
Okay, let's.
Why not just say discussion? That sounds. I don't like powwow. That sounds dumb.
Father says.
And Wong.
Department of Redundancy Department.
Raptor, I say that.
Is the department that I like most.
No, I'm saying powwow. That's the thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, I say powwow.
Racism, please laugh.
Oh.
Theresa is that reality warping little boy from the episode of The Twilight Zone. And then Billy's best comment yet.
It's a good life.
Just all caps. Why? Get me Prime Minister Blair. You don't have to tell me twice, but during the Stone Age,
Oh,
it's Pyongyang. Okay. Don't pronounce it properly at all.
that's what I've been trying to go for. I didn't think I was pronouncing it right, and I kind of made that as a conscious choice. I swear.
Sun Wukong. No, I wish this had Sun Wukong. If this doesn't end with her being torn limb from limb and eaten by starving North Koreans, I'm gonna be sad. Oh,
You couldn't
great.
possibly be that blessed.
Final powwow with Sonichu. Powwow, it's something the Cherokeans used to do.
Yeah, like the proper definition is like actually like it's a Native American term, but now it's just used as like to mean a meeting for discussion.
The Cherokee. I am the queen of the Cherokee clan. I am responsible for the...
No, it's even better when it's said by Gemma because she puts on like a. I don't know if she was going specifically for Cockney, but that's like the closest thing I can think of to what it is.
I am responsible for the actions of a psychopath because I didn't convince her not to do them.
Yeah, way to go, Blair.
Alright, where did we leave off?
Did we hear anything from the leadership general?
Only that the order for the people to attack stands.
Okay, how do we proceed?
We penetrate 100 kilometers into the north and camp for the night. We enter Pyongyang the next morning.
Yeah, penetrate.
You bastard, I was gonna say that.
Ninja.
Let's get this thing going.
The South Korean Expeditionary Force started rolling. They started rolling. What are they? Are they the Autobots? Just Sonichu jumps up. All right, South Korea Army, roll out. The first task was to clear the border of mines. This was done with special bulldozers that scraped the ground to trigger the mines. Then a line of what looked like steamrollers advanced to fly and pack the soil while triggering the mines. For a few miles, only scattered civilian North Koreans could be spotted watching from long distances. None dared get near the column. There were no North Korean military personnel in evidence. They had been told that this was not the place to take on a fight. It was better to let the South Koreans penetrate farther in, and their long supply lines would make them vulnerable.
He said penetrate again.
Yeah.
Did it!
We stopped miles from the city and camped for the night. I got my own tent since I was the only female. Sonwoo... Wait, of all the times that Steve has been in a situation where he did not belong, why isn't he here?
Also, isn't it... well, I guess because she's with, No, I think this is even a thing in South Korea, too. Aren't all young people required to join the military at some point?
I have no idea.
I could be remembering it wrong. I thought it could just have been males. I don't remember.
Sonichu and I watched the tent being set up. Soldiers walking by stared at me with looks of surprise.
What's the matter with them?
I asked Sonichu.
Oh, sorry.
Manny, I think he's still playing Spyro, and he's not telling us.
I just had a brain thought, that's all.
I'm just kidding.
I saw Mike jokingly say earlier, mutes Spyro. Yes, it's totally turned off now. I promise.
Yeah. I wish I was that smart.
Aww.
You are.
Well, anyway, they didn't know you were here.
What?
The commandant general never goes into battle with his soldiers. If he is lost, the war is lost.
No, that's not how that works.
You mean our own soldiers weren't told I'm here?
Ow.
No. One of them might be a North Korean assassin.
Oh, another assassin. That
You mean the
doesn't
ones
really
that didn't
exist.
show up?
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying you had more assassins?
Okay, I think we're far enough along that I can spoil this now. According to the TV tropes page, there's never going to be an assassination attempt in this book.
I'm shocked. Shocked.
I
Well,
know, right?
Well, not really that shocked.
As Mike said, maybe that's how the military worked in 1066, but not now.
And
That how-
Bhutan's just sitting home. Ah, the people will buy it. It's Koreans. Young people today only know about the animal land.
I think that's how it worked in Star Wars. Like they killed General Grievous, and that's somehow supposed to end the Clone Wars. Maybe Bhutan just watched that film and was like, I'm gonna put that in my book, and it's gonna make it super good because it's from Star Wars.
Nah, Bhutan's not cool enough to watch Star Wars.
But it's the prequel trilogy.
Okay, maybe he's not. Maybe he's lame enough to watch the prequels.
What, you're shocked, Manny? Maybe zapped to the
Shut up.
extreme? Might go to unforgivable jail.
All right, let's go back to reading. What about the people back home?
Nobody knows you're here. Telling them tells the enemy.
Okay, now that's fair. But the following line, well, after this one, but I said I'd be here. Now this is stupid.
Nobody believed it.
What the fuck?
This was absolutely incredible. Nobody knew I came on the expedition, not the soldiers themselves, and not the folks back home.
How stupid do you think people are, Bhutan?
I talked with Steve about going into North Korea, but plans
Wait.
were...
I'm sorry, but it just reminds me of I just watched okay, I know this is a bit sacrilege, but I do like BuzzFeed Unsolved just because I like the two hosts. So I was watching one of their new episodes about Agatha Christie and how she disappeared for a few days. And it's she literally left a note to her brother-in-law saying she was going to Yorkshire for a spa. And everyone keeps looking for her and searching for her. Turns out she was at the spa.
She was at the spa for that long.
I think people thought she was missing for 12 days, I think it was. And it's she's exactly where she said she was.
I'm just picturing
Imagine
Agatha
that,
Christie walking into this place with a plate of spaghetti and meatballs. What is your spaghetti policy here?
That's an inside joke for anyone who's not in Beanhaven.
No, that's an Always Sunny in Philadelphia joke.
Well, we made that joke in Beanhaven.
Yes, we did.
And my spaghetti policy is that any spaghetti is good spaghetti as long as it's not that shit that Will Ferrell made in Elf.
Elfie.
I talked with Steve about going into North Korea, but plans for what would actually be done on the peninsula were sketchy at best. In fact, I left Washington with no plan. Neither Steve or even President Stinson knew what I'd do when I got here. I bet Jan Struthers would. And surely nobody knew the North Koreans would order their poor people to attack without arms. Except, anyone who knew anything about North Korea would come to that conclusion. Steve had to be going nuts wondering what I was doing.
My God, nobody knows. This is unbelievable. Tell me about it. Literally, no one. We don't believe this. We don't buy it.
Poor Jack. I mean, Steve. How did he put up with me without complaint? He had not bargained for this when we married.
Maybe it's because you curse people, so he can't complain in front of you.
He too wanted nothing more than a quiet life, a regular job, the little house with a picket fence, an occasional night out at the movies, the American dream of secure comfort. Look what he got! Literally
The American
Satan.
dream was secure mediocrity. What happened, Teresa? I thought you
Oh
hated
yeah,
America.
she went to a Catholic school too. Like she went to a Catholic college, so presumably, um, I think she even said Steve was Catholic too. You think like when she leaves, like he's finally like calling his parents, like, get an exorcist over here. She'll be back soon.
Anyway, look at what you
No,
got.
no,
Not Satan. He got a woman that would make Satan say, "Y'all need Jesus."
Yeah.
I would just imagine like Steve's like the one the episode for SpongeBob where he goes we like decides to live on among jellyfish and partners are like even Squidward misses you and just cuts the Squid party at his house because SpongeBob's gone.
Steve just throwing a party.
Even Steve misses you. Da 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 da.
Alright. The propaganda planes flew overhead. These were South Korean cargo planes loaded with millions of leaflets bearing my picture and explaining what I was doing. They said I was going to free the North Koreans, and that at my insistence, North Korea's food distribution and other public services would be administered by North Koreans chosen by myself. Yeah, you know, don't give them democracy or anything. You're the dictator now.
You
Don't you
saved
remember?
us.
She literally said she
I
would have to
wouldn't
be a
say
dictator for
saved
a
you.
little while.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just
anyway,
walks up
you
to Kim.
saved us. Thus, I wouldn't say you were saved. More like under new management.
Just walks up to Kim Jong. Look at me. I'm the dictator now.
Ladies, look back at your old dictator. Now back at me. Now back at your old dictator. Now back at me.
I'm flipping you off.
Swan dive. I love that commercial.
There was no mention of the South Koreans. It was all about me, me, me. So, in other words, your entire life. These leaflets were thrown out all over Pyongyang for the people to consider through the night. Could the people fear me? I didn't think so. They already do.
They all do. We do.
Morning brought the day of decision. To proceed or not to proceed. No news had developed during the night.
We go into Pyongyang.
I said. The column now split up into two columns separated by 20 feet. This would allow the soldiers to leave the vehicles and all shoot their weapons at once, while the double line of vehicles would give them some protection. Oh my god. We entered the beginning of the long boulevard leading to the government building complex, where helicopters watched the major part of the crowd. The number of curious civilians increased as our army got closer to the government center. Excuse me. I was riding in a vehicle that looked like a large armored SUV in back of 6 tanks. Troop carriers were immediately behind me. I sat on the left side of the rear seat next to General Sonichu and watched the civilians standing at a safe distance. I spotted a man holding what looked like a radio. I think that's you, Kenzie. I think.
Alright. There's a radio. And the floor is made of floor. And the sky is up.
Yes. Without it, they wouldn't know we worked on page. Coming.
That was true. The North Korean army was gone. There was nobody to report on the South Koreans' progress except the South Koreans themselves through their radio stations. The groups of civilian onlookers became more frequent and bolder until 1 mile from the government center they formed unbroken lines along both sides of the boulevard. A few hundred yards from the center of the lines were 200 or 300 people deep. My soldiers were surrounded by a crowd many times their number. We were in it now, up to our necks. The boulevard was the widest street I'd ever seen, easily 3 times as wide as the Champs-Élysées in Paris.
Really? No words of criticism against it?
It could be used as an airport that you could crash another plane into. At the final stretch of the government center, the crowds filled this vast empty space with 150 feet within 150 feet of either side of the double column. The lines of people were so deep I couldn't see the end of them.
How many of them are there?
I asked.
4 million. Some came from other cities.
This is far enough. Stop.
The column stopped. 50,000 South Korean soldiers jumped out of vehicles and laid on the ground to be able to shoot at the crowd over each other's heads without shooting each other. They held their guns ready to fire. Soldiers on top of tanks waited with 50 caliber machine guns. One of those bullets could pierce a dozen people. Would the crowd attack at this close range? I didn't believe it. They had to know 100,000 people would be shot down the first second. It was frightening to think of. The slaughter would be like a nuclear attack.
No. A nuclear attack would leave very little people behind.
Meanwhile, little does Theresa know Steve is cheating on her with Jack.
Yes, I ship it.
I approve.
Attack without arms. Other leaders would say, "You still have legs. Fight harder." The father go to pun jail. Theresa is not like other girls. They're Catholic and married for a year. How did Theresa not have a kid yet? I shudder at the thought. World War II, the RAF's first bombing raids were drop propaganda leaflets on Germany. These were later used as toilet paper by the Germans. What I'm saying is North Koreans will wipe their ass with their picks. You know what cleans up an armored column nicely? A tactical nuke. Zerg Rush.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Guard.
I'm just saying random things by at this point.
It'd be nice. Kim Jong-un has planted one nuclear device in the government sector to be detonated on her arrival. Please. Wait, 50,000 from APCs that carry like 12 people? Yeah. What was that one place? Tiananmen Square or something? Oh, it's nice. Skogketter. They're very fluffy and large. Alright, everybody stayed where they were. The soldiers looked at the crowds and the crowds stared back. It was a standoff. Nobody wanted to start a fight. After a minute, I said,
At least they're not attacking.
I put on the headphones.
Am I on the air?
Yes! Said a female voice from somewhere in South Korea.
Everybody stay here. I'm going out.
I got out of the armored SUV-like vehicle, which was between the twin columns. Soldiers with television cameras and the troop carriers got behind me, got out, and aimed their cameras at me and the crowds. The pictures were going to be broadcast live to the world. I walked through the left side of the column between soldiers and stopped to stand facing the crowd. People near me recognized me and talked to each other.
I think they figured out I'm here.
Mike said, Kenzie, stop playing Spyro and read your lines.
No.
Crowd...
For your information, I'm playing Animal Crossing. No, just kidding. But I don't want to read this line.
He's probably just so happy he gets fucking recognized on national TV. He's just there on his toilet and be like, no, yes, I've been noticed by Theresa. I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna have sponsor deals. And, but anyway, back to harassing that freaking hair guy. What's his name again? Furry? I do not know, but what is important is that I am inexplicably a fly now.
Baller.
The crowd could hear my voice from the loudspeakers mounted on many trucks. My remarks were immediately translated into Korean by the female translator in the South. Steve,
Who is
President
Steve?
Stinson, Prime Ministers Blair and Scherzer, and everybody else in the world were watching me on television. The president
Not like
must
that
have
didn't happen
understood
before.
The president must have understood what I was doing. I was focusing the crowd's attention on my own personality rather than on the army to change their view of the situation and calm them down. Another minute went by. I spoke again.
The North Korean leaders fled to safety, but they still want the people to attack us unarmed. That's arrogance.
Actually, I didn't know where the leaders were, but a little fib seemed like the right thing to do. The leaders were almost certainly not in Pyongyang. The quick translation over the loudspeakers made the people murmur to each other. This point must have already been considered by them. I hope to capitalize on it. My ad-lib gave me another idea. I started walking forward to the head of the column. Some hundreds of yards further down, the crowd had spanned completely across the boulevard in attempts to see better. I kept walking beyond the column until I reached a point 100 yards beyond it and stopped.
I hate this. I could be back home living in luxury, but here I am alone with 4 million North Koreans. I'm risking my life to save theirs. That's humility.
She sounds like a villain right now.
That's not.
She just sounds like a cartoon villain. Like, trust me, I'm really the good person here.
Also, I don't think Bhutan actually knows what humility is.
Of course he doesn't. He's a sociopath. Like, you can trust me. I'm like no. He's freaking. She's like the freaking Joker from the 1989 Batman film. Like, who do you trust? Me? I'm giving out free money. And where's the Batman? He's at home, washing his tights. I was gonna make a point there, but honestly, just turned for me just appling that because I'm bored. And I just lost my train of thought.
Now I simply stood staring at the crowd until the translation was over.
I could be home enjoying freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom from fear. Why am I here? I guess I want everybody to have freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and freedom from fear.
Freedom of the press, unless it makes fun of her.
That should get them thinking. I let a half-minute pass before speaking again.
Again, bringing out the stopwatch. 1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. When Steve and I went to a Paris restaurant, we were ignored because we weren't sophisticated. Maybe it's because you're a
Steve! Who are you talking about?
I may not be as sophisticated as Parisians, but I don't see 4 million dead bodies around here. Is that a threat?
Really, who is Steve? Who are you talking about, Mrs.? Who are
that's
you?
what I would like to. I like to think that's what they're thinking. Like, who the fuck are you talking about?
That was calculated to refocus them on what was at stake. I pointed my left arm and index finger towards the direction we had come.
My first order is to open the border and let everybody through. If there's no border, there is only one country. The road to South Korea is open. You can start walking down there if you want. Nobody will stop you.
Hello, Cricket. How are you doing?
Hey, Cricket. How's it going?
Run, Cricket.
When that was translated, it met dead silence. The concept of having the option to leave the North at will was totally new to them.
Also, how can they walk to South Korea? I thought you already started moving the country.
Yeah, I don't get it. I lowered my arm.
Or you can just go home and you'll be free. We're not leaving you. Yeah, you can be free. I'm just dictator now.
I think that scored points. The people were talking with each other. More time went by.
What do I have to do to make them understand we're here to help them?
Moments after that, I heard General Sunwoo's voice.
Hang on. I'm honestly, I'm so freaking lost at this point. General Kenobi. I mean, General Hartley.
What is it?
China says the North Korean leadership fled to China last night.
I jerked my head back and closed my eyes. It was overwhelming. My eyes teared up. I put my hands to my face. The body language was unmistakable. The world could see how relieved and grateful I was.
Why do they tell us that now if they knew since last night?
They didn't know you were in Pyongyang. They said you are recklessly endangering yourself and the world. You needed to control Hal.
You are recklessly endangering yourself and the world.
Yeah, talk about a freaking Mary Suda. Even the freaking Chinese government is like, oh, I want China to keep yourself out of danger.
I watched.
Bhutan, how do you do it? How do you make us sympathize with China?
Honestly, actually, I actually there was like a certain point, like at the end of the description, there was like friends to all, even China wants to keep out of danger. But I didn't really think much about that because I thought that was just like another brag. But I guess this is like foreshadowing for the book itself.
I watched the crowd. People were excitedly talking to each other.
Am I making sense right now? I feel like I'm not making any sense.
I mean, I'm getting tipsy, so I don't understand half of what any of us are saying right now.
I can't really understand what I'm saying sometimes.
Based. Don't you get it? You stupid idiots. You're free. You have a new life.
This was translated for them. They understood. There now arose a sound unheard since the acclamation in the Forbidden City. The millions cried out as one voice in a single, unwavering sound. Half of them were wailing submissively like the 10 men outside my apartment, because that's all they'd been trained to do for our dear leader all their lives, while the other half cheered gloriously. The roar was deafening.
We get it, Raptor.
We's a free.
And the soldiers carrying television cameras walked over to me. I thought it was time to show confidence in my 4 million new friends. I walked to the side of the street. Sunwoo and the cameraman followed. The people were still disciplined enough to stay where they were. I walked to the edge of the crowd and extended my right hand to them with a smile. Their own leaders had never done that. Immediately, people grasped it. I walked down the street, extending my right hand out to them. Up to a dozen hands at a time would touch my hand or arm in some way. Sunwoo kept shouting instructions to them in Korean. I guessed he was telling them not to grab my hand too tightly and to let go when the line, and to let me go down the line unimpeded. At least that's what the people were doing. I went down the street a couple hundred yards, holding my right hand to them when I realized I was going the wrong way. I was going towards the rear of the column, but most of the people were towards the front. So I walked through the column and began on the other side. It took an hour to go around the horseshoe-shaped crowd, up the right, across the street, and back down the left, where I had first met them. The time passed quickly. The experience was exhilarating. The South Korean soldiers seized the television station center in a few hours. it was announced that I would give a speech the next morning from the leader's balcony. This was a round balcony on the corner of one of the buildings in the giant square where the grandiose military parades had been put on. Sure enough, the next morning millions of people were in the square. What could I say to make them understand the new reality? The answer was simple. I'd quote the opening paragraphs of the Declaration of Independence.
Oh
I read it
God.
on a piece of paper.
Oh God.
Do we have to read this?
No, please not.
No.
Please no. Thank you, Manny.
Okay.
Nobody-
Exactly.
Just know, just know that freedom good. Me good.
Oh my god. Read the first line after, Ranny. Oh my god.
Nobody could translate such elegant language on the fly and maintain its beauty.
You hear that,
anticipated
you spider tongues? You could never translate such beautiful English, such the beauty of the English language.
Fuck you, other languages.
I had given the translator the English text the day before, and she worked all night at it. When I finished speaking, she read what I'd said in Korean with all the emotions and nuances only a Korean could express. My speech, or rather the translator's rendition of it, was a spectacular success. The crowd cheered their hearts out. Witnesses said President Stinson cried when I gave the speech. This
No, I
event,
don't think it's because of
broadcast
the
to the whole
speech.
world, was called my greatest achievement.
Oh, it's over.
Yay! After so much plotting, the epic North Korean saga has ended.
Yep.
So
Well, I didn't like that at all.
that was underwhelming. Like I was expecting there would be like a big fight between Theresa and the North Korean leader, but I guess not.
Indeed.
I was expecting too much.
Well, chat, what'd you think? Macaron is focusing on that line. I was gonna say something about it. The line that one was like, only in... What was it? Hang on. With all the emotions and nuances only a Korean could express. You mean a person? Yeah.
Look on the bright side. We only got.
Fam, we are 90% done.
Yeah, we only got 2 chapters left, baby.
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun.
Alright, so that was part 20.
You seem drained, buddy.
Yep. Thanks everyone for joining us. We will see you next time for more Hot and Cold Beans, and then next Thursday for more Empress Theresa. So please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Subscribe.
Same bean time, same bean channel.
Goodbye, everybody.